Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is great to see so many people on this class tonight here. Hey, David. Hi, Nadish. Great to see more people coming onto the call. Lovely to connect with you. My name is Kath Pryor, and I am the founder of Successful Leaders. And my goal in life is to inspire leaders to develop high-performing teams and find fulfillment in their leadership. So I am a professional coach trained at the largest coaching institute in Australasia. I'm accredited, only 2% of coaches are, and I was privileged last year to receive the International Coach of the Year by the ICG, which was a great honor. So I've had 26 years in human behavior, studying human behavior, and I've held a very wide variety of leadership positions. I currently am the president of the largest networking in Northwest Sydney. And the greatest honor of leadership is leading my family. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you tonight. And I want to acknowledge everyone for being here. For you to be here, you've had to make leadership your priority. And that says a lot about you. To make the time tonight, I want to acknowledge you for scheduling in, putting the time in your calendar, moving things out the way. We're all busy. Leaders are busy. You might have had to move, organize family, move the cats, dogs, feed the children, whatever you have had to do to be here. I want to acknowledge you for being here because it says a lot about you to be here, to say yes to your learning, to say yes to your growth. And to know that when you're in a community like we are here right tonight, when you're in a community of leaders, you're around people that are growing. And to say yes to yourself and make this time and this effort, I want to acknowledge you for investing in yourself, investing your time, investing your resources, and first and foremost for prioritizing impactful communication. So wherever you are on your journey as a leader and as a communicator and leading, if you're just putting your toe in the water and this is the very first time for you and you're thinking about leadership and communication, lean in. This is a perfect place for you. We've got so many gifts and tools and strategies coming your way. If you've been leading a little bit further along the journey, then there's going to be a lot of, you're in the right place. There's so many strategies for you coming on how we can empower and be influential with our communication. So absolutely loving that. And if you've been a leader for a really long time and you know, being next to the campfire helps you grow, being around other leaders is contagious in a good way, and you're leaning in, sharing and acknowledging each other. That says a lot about you, and you're exactly in the right place. We've got an amazing crew with us tonight. You will be completely taken care of. Thanks everyone for jumping in the chat. The chat is going off. Just letting you know, open up the chat bar. We will be putting gifts into the chat bar for you. So we do have a gift coming straight away for you to welcome you in. It's a wonderful booklet that you can refer to later. Also wanted to let you know, if you're on the class tonight, just use the reaction bar, which is down the bottom. It can help you raise your hand, and it can also help you put a reaction in for you to use. So we will be having another gift later on. Beautiful, Kerry, there you go. Beautiful heart on the screen. The emoji has been used straight away. So we will have a second workbook gift at the end of this workshop, this masterclass we're involved with tonight. So stay to the end and you're going to get an amazing workbook coming, another gift for you. So the topic of today is how to communicate with impact as a successful leader. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how to communicate with empowering language. Then we're going to explore how to inspire and influence through leadership communications. And then we're going to talk about the importance of body language to build rapport. Does that sound like a great way to spend the time together? Yeah, beautiful, amazing. There's so many people on the call, it's amazing. So who here would like to learn how to communicate with empowering language? Can I have a bit of a hands up for that? Yeah, beautiful, love that, Travis. I can see that straight away. And who here would like the tools and strategies to build rapport with clients, colleagues, their team, who would like those tools and strategies coming? That's what we're going to be exploring. I love it. I love the expressions going off. And who wants to take their communication to the next level for leadership? Who's in for that? Yeah, I love that. So absolutely amazing. Just going to check in with you. Is it okay if I bring passion to tonight? I'm absolutely thrilled to be with a group of leaders that are growing. Thumbs up for that. Beautiful. You're here because you're growing. People don't sign up and register for communication courses unless you are a growing leader. So I love that. We're in the right room. We're all in the right room. The energy is here because we bring it. So I'm going to check in. Is it okay if I go a little bit quicker? There's so much value that I want to add tonight, that I want to give as much value in the time that we have. Is that all right if I go a little bit quicker? Yeah, beautiful. And I'm going to ask, is it okay if I bring as much fun as possible? There is a reason for that. We all love fun. Who's in for fun? Yeah, beautiful. We all love fun. But when we are having fun, when we learn, our central nervous system is calm and our brain sends a lot of those beautiful calming chemicals to our body, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, a little bit of dopamine. And when we are having fun and our body registers we're having fun, we actually will retain the information. So just to kick off and say it's okay to have fun, put your favorite emoji on the screen. I'm just going to put mine on now. What's coming up? Oh, I'm going to go for a celebration one. So absolutely amazing. Pop your favorite emoji for a little bit of fun together. And I'm going to check in with you. Beautiful. I love that one. Good on you, David. I can see that right in front of me. That's beautiful. I love that, Sarah. So some pretty cool ones coming up tonight. Oh, and in the chat there, we got some amazing cat ones. I love that. So is it okay tonight that we bring 100% engagement and participation to the class? This is a full participation class. So that means our cameras are on. We're utilizing the chat. We've got, is that okay if we have a thumbs up for full engagement? Because wherever you are, if you're on a training and you're just passively listening, your attention rate is about 5%. If you're engaged in discussion, your retention will go up to 50%. And if you're active, you can go as high as 90%. Who wants to take away value because they've been active in the room? Yeah, beautiful. I love that. And is it okay if we show up as leaders here, 100%? If we are leaders and we're expecting our team to show up at 100%, we're going to show up at 100%. Our team will probably show up about 80 if we've got 100% going. Is that okay? We turn up 100%. We rock out like leaders in this training. Yeah, beautiful. And I'm going to check in with you. We will have just 2 really short networking opportunities. We'll go to a couple of minute breakout room just to communicate as leaders for a few minutes, just to maybe do some discussion or interact, mix and mingle just for 5 minutes to say hello. Is that okay if we just do like 2 very, very short breakout rooms to mingle with some other leaders? Yeah, beautiful. And I'm going to ask, is it okay? Yeah, love the chat going off. Is it okay if you look now and you say to yourself intentionally, I'm going to look for one actionable idea or gold nugget or one gem that I can take away from this class tonight and implement in my leadership straight away? Would that be okay if we make a commitment to that? Because we're all here for learning. So if we're committing to that, guess what? Our unconscious is going to support us to find that. So absolutely amazing. So I have so much to share with you tonight. It's a really great class. Let's dive in quickly. There is so many layers to this and so much depth. This is an overview tonight. I normally do take quite a few hours to make the change and create the neurological change that needs to occur for us too. But we are going to do as much as we can in the time that we have. And is it okay at the end of the masterclass, if you've been enjoying what you're learning and you want to continue the journey a little bit further and find out how you can continue that journey together to create even more effective communication, would it be okay if I just shared and took a couple of minutes to share an opportunity to continue the journey? Is that a yes or yes, everyone? Can I check in and that would be okay? Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to a breakout room, just 5 minutes in a breakout room with 4 leaders. All I'd love you to do is just say hi, share your name, and I'd love you to think about the question, why is communicating with impact important to you? So the question in the chat is, Why is communicating with impact important to you? So we just mix and mingle about 1 minute each for a share, just to get to know the other attendees on the class. So I'm just going to repeat that: your name, just say hi, your name, and why is communicating with impact important to you? And because you said we can bring the fun, then if you're in a breakout room and your name starts with C or afterwards, you get to be the leader in the room and you can kick it off saying hi and welcome to the team. Does that sound pretty cool, everyone? And I will see you on the other side. Thanks, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I can see everyone coming back. Cameras are coming back on. It's great to see the smiles as people come in the room. Welcome back, everybody. Great to see so many people. We've got a really large group with us tonight. So absolutely great. Yeah, there you go. We've got so many big smiles and waves coming in as we come back from the breakout room. So let's dive in. I do love to share with you the screen. I'm just going to share with you and start with a quote. So the art of communication is the language of leadership, from John Maxwell. So the art of communication is the language of leaders. So impactful communication. I'm just going to show you that slide. I know some people like to write down some quotes to think of as they're leading. Impactful communication is not about one-sided lecturing or dominating the organization. It's the ability to lead. And it's one of the greatest skills that we can have as leaders. Who's getting that? It's one of the greatest skills as a leader to be able to language the communication to your team. And it is about how you get effective communication. If you want to influence and inspire your team, then you need to keep up leveling and growing around your communication. According to the workplace communication statistics, 86% of employees and executives cite that the main reason for workplace failure is about ineffective communication. So ever since humans have started to grunt, we've had miscommunication problems. We would be thinking as we got more advanced that this would not be the case, but it is still as high as ever. And after the pandemic, it is getting worse, the ability to communicate, particularly after everyone has been in isolation and away. It is about bringing it up. And as leaders, we need to bring this and have this as the forefront of our minds, that our teams have maybe been in different situations and away from people. So there are many different ways of communicating. Now, this is an interactive class. Let's get some easy conversation going here. But I'd love to get the chat bar opening, and I'd love to see you responding, as many people as possible responding. But what are some ways that we are communicating as leaders? Let's just go an easy dive into the first sort of discussion. Jump in the chat. What are some of the examples that we are communicating as leaders right now? So beautiful. Tanya's got body language. Let's use the chat. Yep, phone calls, our presence. That's a great one. I love it. Yeah, in meetings. Yeah, verbal, email, Microsoft Teams, role modeling. That's a great one. Using your tone of voice. Now we're getting the ideas flowing through emojis. Yes, that's exactly right, Lisa Marie. Yeah, leading by example, the energy. So there's so many ways. Great shares. I love the way it's going off, taking actions. Yeah, gifts to employees. So great shares, everyone. Thanks for the contribution to the room. We're just getting warmed up in this room together. So it might surprise some people on the call. I'm going to share with you the statistics of the way that we the language and how it is. Let me see with you here. So we have 93% of our language is occurring through non-verbal communication, and 7% is through the language that we speak. So with only 7% of language that we're speaking, we're going to be making sure tonight that we're coming off this class with as empowering language as possible, and that we have body language that's in alignment. Because when our body language is not in alignment to our voice, it creates an area of distrust within our team, because we're sending mixed signals. So we're going to look at verbal, which is language. We're going to look at vocal, which is the way we speak and how we connect. And we're going to be looking at the visual body language, how we can build trust with the team, because the goal here is to be as aligned as possible with our language and communication to influence from a position that our team is trusting us. Who's loving that? That's what we're going to be doing, building trust and being in alignment. So communication, give me a thumbs up. Is anyone taking down from the slide? I know I can see everyone's fine to go on. Beautiful. So communication is like a good design. You say it better when it's simple, when it's clear and concise and constructive. Keep it simple. So the less problems happen when it's simple. If it's clear and concise, it is the key. As Einstein says, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. So it is a balance as leaders to get it exactly right. And one of the great questions I always ask myself when communicating, and I like to share this with leaders, is what action will my team take as a result of this communication? Maybe write that down. It's a good reflective question. But what action will my team take as a result of my communication? So we're thinking about being very specific the way we communicate, keeping it clear and concise and remembering why we are communicating. Now, I would love to share with you a metaphor, and I'm going to give you a bit of a visual. I've got a few visuals first of all tonight. So I love this one. Impactful communication is like a great game of tennis. The ball is served and returned, like commenting and responding and acknowledging. Acknowledging is a big one, like very important when someone says something to acknowledge, like great shot to the other members on the court or your team, versus where someone is really just having a monologue and no one has the opportunity to respond to the serve. So in impactful communication, in tennis, we like to get results. We want to communicate in a way that we get results. We want to learn how to ace our speaking, and we want to have communication that is straight down the line and communicate impactfully. So it is a grand slam. And I think I've done enough analogies for the tennis in one little hit there. But we're thinking of communication like a great game of tennis. Who's loving that? Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely love that. So how do we communicate like the great game of tennis? How do we do that? Now, we need to be the change right now. We need to be leaders that are being the change, and it starts with us. Who's ever been in a situation where you've seen leaders and their language is very cherishing and nurturing and you feel safe and you want to contribute? Who's seen leaders like that? Yep, that's what we're aiming for, where people feel safe, versus when people are in meetings and they are literally looking, where is my seat that is closest to the door? I'm looking at the watch and I'm trying to protect myself so I can get a quick getaway. So that's what a lot of people are facing if we don't have impactful communication, because most people are wondering if they are safe to be able to be here in this meeting or be in this group presentation. They're wondering if you're going to call on them unexpectedly. So one of the main reasons that when we're communicating is we're creating safety and we're creating trust. So impactful communication is a process of exchanging ideas. It's the thoughts and it's the opinions and the knowledge that we're sharing, and we are communicating impactfully so that the sender and receiver both feel empowered. So we also want to go a bit deeper and make sure that people are valued. Okay, so let's dive in. How do we communicate with empowering language? So the words we have are powerful. The language that we choose is reflective of our own personal development. So as we develop, we're actually using language where we are on our personal development journey. So keep leaning in, keep growing professionally, keep personally developing, and your language will flow from there. But Jim Rohn says, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Have this as a focus, and you're exactly here in the right room tonight because you're lifelong learners. Who's in for lifelong learning? Yeah, beautiful. So some leaders put up invisible barriers to their teams by the language choices that they make. You can use language that's empowering or disempowering. You can choose language that's going to bring a team together to help create and bond and create the culture, or you can use language that is going to create dissent. So I'm going to share with you a couple of different thinking models to communicate through. So write this down. There's some good gold coming for you. So when we communicate with our team, we're going to communicate in a way that we're reminding our team to bring long-term thinking in. So this model of thinking is short-term thinking versus long-term thinking. Now, a lot of people in the team are thinking, right, how do I put out the fire? How can I cope with what is immediately in front of me? So most employees or people in our teams are all worried about the here and the now and survival of the day, whatever it is, it's human nature. So part of our communication strategy is to think about bringing in the long-term thinking. So always connecting to the why and always connecting to the vision. So whenever you're communicating with your team, maybe it's at a staff meeting, then bring in your values, bring in the vision repetitively, consistently, and keep your team focused on the long-term thinking. So communicate in a long-term way. So how we make impact in our team is to connect to the long-term thinking. So think of the results that you want in the future and make decisions today to achieve them. So keep thinking as a leader where you're heading. Always think where you're heading. Who loves that short-term thinking versus long-term thinking? And communicating short-term and long-term. So you're scooping in where you are today, but always keeping your team going forward. So another model of thinking that we communicate to our team, we're going to go deeper in empowering language, but I wanted to share with you linear thinking versus multiplistic thinking. Now, a lot of people in your team are going to be thinking linear. So they're going to be thinking, I have to take one step, and then I've got to take the next step, and then I've got to take the next step. And people are thinking in a very slow way. If you want to get the team going forward and you want to get productivity going and results going, we need to bring in multiplistic thinking, sharing that we can get a few different campfires going at the same time. Talk about kindling. Maybe they're doing some personal growth. Maybe there's a project that they're working on at the moment. Maybe they're getting their speaking development or their communication going. But start to share communicating in a way to your team that they're thinking of multiplistic thinking. So let's get as many campfires going today. Who is getting this? Who's getting multiplistic thinking as a way of communicating to your team? Yeah, as a leader, we want to start communicating in a multiplistic way. We'll get more results. And I do go deeper in this. I do run a speaking event, and I go deeper in the speaking event on how to think in a multiplistic way. But this is a helicopter at the moment. Okay, so let's bring inclusive language, exclusive language, and inclusive language. So every single person that you are working with in your teams is going to be having one of the 3 universal fears. Right now, every single person experiences 3 universal fears: that I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, and I don't belong. They're universal human fears. So we as leaders need to face these objectives. We need to know that this objection is coming up, and we need to use language where people feel that they are belonging, that they're in the right space. Who feels like they're in the right place right now? Yeah, because you're learning and we're being together and we're on this journey because of the language that we're talking about right now. Now, I'm going to give you an example of a leader that used one simple sentence at the beginning of their leadership, and it created so much dissent because they didn't think through how they could use communication to bring the team together. So the leader was new and they were complimenting an admin staff. And they did something, the admin staff did something wonderful, and they said, oh my goodness, you're my favorite. And it was one of the very first communications that they had. Now that went through the organization. The organization suddenly went like, oh, I didn't know there was favorites. Now it's us against them, and who's the favorite? And am I in the favorite? What do I have to be in the favorite? So that's why language is crucial. It can be as simple as one sentence that can create dissent and disunity within the team. People want to belong, so we want to include as many sentences that we use together to unite the group. Right now, you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around the most, and your language will keep up leveling as you be in communities and focus on communication. You keep up leveling. So as you grow, this ripple effect will go to your team. So most people that you're working with do not have a self-awareness. So in a Forbes article in 2017 done by, her name was Tasha Unich, she did a big study on self-awareness. Now, 95% of people think that they're self-aware, but only about 10% of people have awareness. So as leaders, we're communicating to people, but we need to be around people that help us understand how we're communicating. We need to be around mentors. We need to be around people that share with us and give us feedback as much as possible. So maybe tonight you might set yourself a goal to keep increasing and improving your communication. Who's in for that? Who is in for, like, it is a lifelong learning, it is commitment, and you don't have to start off as a great communicator. Remember Muhammad Ali? He started off saying, I'm the greatest, when he wasn't the greatest. He made a commitment and said, this is it, I'm in, I am the greatest, and I'm keeping the promises I make to myself, and I'm going to keep going in that direction till I am the greatest. So our language choices are all like focusing on a big data storage of communication. So we have a conscious brain and an unconscious brain. So our conscious brain is about 5% and our unconscious brain is about 95%. So whatever we speak, whatever we language, our unconscious supports us. So I'm going to share with you some examples right now that you can utilize in your leadership that is empowering. Say, for example, if you're using language like, I don't get this, or this is hard, or this is such a challenge, or I'm overwhelmed, any of those type of sentences, your unconscious is going to make you feel that way. So if you're thinking something is really, really hard and you keep languaging it, you won't be able to achieve the solution. So if you've got a lot of problems at the moment and you're thinking, wow, my team, we can't get through this, it's all too hard, your unconscious won't unlock what it needs to support you to go forward. So I'm going to give you a tip right now. Start bringing words in like, oh, that's unfamiliar. I'm going to grow in that. I'm looking for solutions. So your language will help your team achieve. So if you keep writing down and speaking language for your unconscious to support you, like, I'm building a team with an amazing future. I'm going to give feedback to my team and I love it. How many times has anyone ever heard someone say, like, don't worry, it's all, like, we're not going to worry about that, or this is so hard. Has anyone heard lots of people using those type of language? Well, whatever your theme word is of the sentence, your unconscious will follow. So when you say don't worry, your unconscious will literally worry. So if you're using a lot of worrying type of language around your team, you're going to create an anxious team. So right now you can make a change with that and start thinking about what is the focus of my sentences. So maybe it is, I'm building amazing cultures, or I'm finding solutions. Let's jump in the chat and we'll see if we can figure out some words that we could use as empowering language. So disempowering language is like, I can't cope, I'm not open to that, maybe it's too difficult, that's not going to work. All of those, they're excuses, and they're actually, your unconscious will shut down and you won't find ways. So I'm curious, let's see if we can get our fingers going again in the chat, but let's see if we can get some sentences going. Write them down if you need to, that are empowering language for you and your team. Language that's filled with possibilities, language that's filled with options, language that's connected to your purpose, that feels light Maybe it's creative. So let's jump in the chat. Who's got some there? Oh, yeah, that's a great one. I'm thrilled to explore this. Beautiful. Let's keep going, team. I'm finding the answers. Yeah, let's do this together. That's a great one. That's belonging and forward focused. I love that one, Sarah. Beautiful. Chantel, I can do this. What other options could be available? That's a great one, Natalie. Yeah, I'm on a treasure hunt for the next gold nugget. That's a great one. I love that one. Manthan, wonderful. I'm looking forward to finding solutions. Write some of these down so that you've got some empowering takeaways for tomorrow when you lead your team, or if you're leading your family, leading your team, wherever you are. I'm choosing to trust myself. That's a great one. Tell me what more. I'm noticing. Yeah, go team. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. So I'm going to share with you. We've got some more going off. We have our monthly targets, and let's keep pushing further forward. I like that, Travis. Even you could change the word pushing to going, because pushing feels a bit exhaustive, but I love where you're going. You can still do little tweaks on each one. So we keep it as light as possible, and options. So when words feel like quite lacking in freedom, or maybe heavy, forced, or absolutes, it feels exhausting and heavy. So if you want to keep your team feeling light and energized going forward, then we need to use energetic words. So let's see what's possible. There is a hero in all of us. I love that one, Maria Rosa. Look for the change. Yeah. Language that is light and full. Yeah, beautiful. So write down as many of these to take away as possible. Can we do a little exercise? Is it okay? Can I have a bit of a waste? Just a 1-minute exercise to feel what it's like in our body. Okay. So that you can understand what's happening with your team. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. But I want you to think of something that you need to do. Now, I want you to tell yourself you have to do it. It's absolutely crucial that you have to do it. There's a lot of this is forced on you. Notice what happens to your body. There'll be some sensations in your body. Now, I want you to flip it. I want you to think of a task that you need to do and start having positive self-talk. I want you to create lightness to it. This is such an opportunity. Now I'm excited. I'm thrilled to be part of this exploration journey. Go further and start championing yourself. Like, wow, this is phenomenal that we're achieving these results. And notice how you feel in your body. Notice how you feel and you're ready to go. I'm going to invite you to open your eyes whenever you feel comfortable, and I'm going to share something with it. Who just noticed what happened in their body? Who noticed how they feel? Yeah. What happened when you used empowering language? Give me a word in the chat. What did you feel when you used him? Yeah, much lighter. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You felt tense and then you felt free. You felt constricted and then you had a bolt of energy. Well, this is how we need to be leading our teams. Energized, so our team is energized. And it's all about tweaking the words that we use. Yeah, beautiful. I'm excited for what is ahead. Easy to do. Beautiful. I'm just going to give you a little example on the screen again. Let's see. So we can change some of our language and have a think. Maybe you can think about some of the examples here. So your language becomes the experience that you create. So if you change your language, you change your perception of what's happening. So there's some questions there. I can't, I should, it's a problem, I hope, I wish, what if. See if you can give yourself 1 minute and maybe write down another example. So I can't do that. What could it become? Give yourself an example. So we're not watching TV, we're actually being active as we learn this. I should, what could that become? It's a problem. I hope, I wish. Give yourself a few examples. Beautiful. What if? What if is focused on, oh my goodness, what if this happens? What if this, creating worry? But maybe, or this is possible, this is a possibility. So we've got a few actionable examples right now. Can I have a thumbs up if it's okay to, yep, beautiful, thanks for that. Okay, lovely, coming back. So let's add another layer to empowering language, and I'm going to bring in permissive language. Let's bring permissive language into our teams to start empowering. Now, quite simply, permissive language is asking permission rather than telling. So it's all about when people are invited, when people are given the options to be able to do something, then your team feels like they haven't been commanded and they now are able to go ahead. So when we're inviting our team, they have buy-in. So there's a difference from that old-fashioned leadership, which is command and control, versus now we're heading to inspire and influence, or inspire and trust. We're moving away, and after the pandemic, we've got a lot of people that are leaving teams. So it's so important the way we communicate now to keep our teams, and not only just keep our teams, but have teams that are thriving. So instead of like, you go next, to, would you like to share? If you're at a staff meeting, is it okay if I ask you? Would you be interested in keeping the language light that is inviting? So I'm going to ask you, would it be okay if everyone jumped in the chat and put one word, sharing how they feel when they're invited to put a word? How do you feel? So when you're invited to share, how do you feel? I love that, Lisa Marie. Empowered. Yeah, valuable, beautiful, encouraged when you're invited. Love it. This is going off. Valued. Your voice is important. Yeah, beautiful. Accepted. And as part of it, I need to belong, you're included straight away. Yeah, beautiful. You feel noticed and acknowledged. Acknowledging is important. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for everyone for sharing in the chat. Vicky, I see your hand raised. I'd love to invite you to share.
Hi, I have a question around permissive words. So where do we draw the line between permissive and, usually being a female, sometimes we're stereotyped of being not assertive or not having a straight communication?
Yeah, beautiful. I love that question. It's a great question. It's adding value to the room. Well, it isn't about our leadership. It isn't about our leadership. We can keep having authority. So we have authority in who we are. We know who we are. We grow in who we are. We back ourselves in who we are. We have awareness of who we are. And we come from that position that we already know that we're a strong leader. And then we invite our team. So we're role modeling our trust in ourselves as leaders, first of all. So there's no gap there in what others would feel, because we are strong in ourselves. Does that answer your question?
Does that okay. So is that your recommendation? We use more invitive words as opposed to direct?
Inclusive words. We call them inclusive words. We're adding to a lot of what we're learning tonight. So we're doing multiplistic thinking. We've got strategies in place. We're coming from a position that we're backing ourselves. We're trusting ourselves as leaders. And then we are using the empowering language to empower our team, so our team feels lighter. And then we are aware the need for our team to belong by including them in the team. So moving away from that command style to that inspiring style. So people want to follow us and be with us on the journey, not forced on the journey, but they want to be with us on the journey. Who's getting that? Yeah, beautiful share. Thank you so much for your share, Vicky. Absolutely love that. Thank you. Great. So, and that's a great example. So I was talking with someone that was in a leadership role, quite new to the leadership role, and they were a young leader. And I actually asked them, how do they lead? And they said, oh, I never micromanage and I don't boss. And I let them pretty much figure it out. And I was like, okay, well, new to leadership, but we need to come from a position that we're setting up our team for success. And sometimes we have a frame in our mind, like an image in our mind. And this particular person was, I don't want to be a bossy teacher, so I'm not going to be a boss. But it literally is about showing how to set your team up for success by maybe having conversations like, okay, let's talk about the plan. What's the plan? What's the next step? Is there a gap? Do you need anything from me? Can you share back how we're going to go about this? So literally we're going to share back how we're going to go about this. Do you mind, Elsa, if we just go to the next section on this one, and then we'll have a little bit of a share, if that's okay? Appreciate that. So we're just going to go to the next step, and we'll have some question at the end. So how to inspire and influence through leadership communication. So we need to know as leaders, what is our own communication style? So we need to have awareness. And the next one is we need to know what's the communication style of our team. And then we need to know how to adapt our communication style so that the message lands. Because a lot of the time communication can be like water off a duck's back. You're communicating and you think you're communicating, but it's just dripping off the back and it's being flicked away. So we want to be in a way where we are communicating that it lands. So successful people make up their minds really quickly and they change it slowly. They know they're backing themselves. They know it is important to communicate in a way that the language suits each and every member of the team. Who's ever been frustrated by someone that maybe we can be a little bit honest here, but maybe you get frustrated by someone that takes such a long time to get to the point? Who's ever heard that type of communicator? Yeah, beautiful. What about someone that really lacks detail and says, no, you'll be right, just go with it, you've got it, and you don't? Who's felt frustrated by that type of leader? Sometimes you get the overly abrupt leader. Who's experienced that, like this type of leadership? And you can have also the type of communicator that maybe they change their focus a lot and they appear a little bit scattered. Who's experienced that? Okay. It probably means the communicator is unresourceful and they don't know how to adapt their communication style for the team. So I'm a qualified and certified EDIS profiler, and I'm going to share with you a little bit from an EDIS profile point of view about how people communicate. So it's really important to understand how you communicate, and it's also really crucial to understand how others. So there are 4 different styles of communication, and people will vary amongst each of the styles. Let's have a little bit of a helicopter view. Is that okay if we have a little bit of a helicopter view about the 4 styles of communication? Okay, so let's have a look through EDIS behavior profiling. So we've got the D energy, we've got I energy, we've got S energy, and we've got the C energy. So everyone will have a B1 particular energy. We've got about 70% of people have 2 energy styles and 29% have 3, but normally only 1% have 1, and nobody has all 4 of the energy and behavior styles, but we can communicate through them. So let's look at the D energy. So the D energy, they're very extroverted. They like to say what they think and they show their feelings on their face. So they often will have a style where they are really talking a lot more than they feel, and they will talk a lot over listening. So their preference is to talk, and often they'll interrupt a lot, and they will state opinions as facts. So they really focus on the big picture and they're quite direct. Let me see, I'm just going to come back to here. So I'm going to ask the question, who's ever connected with someone that they know has got that strong D energy? Who's experienced that style of communication? It's very direct, very focused, very results. So jump in the chat and share with me, how do you think that you would communicate with someone with the D energy? How would they like to be communicated? Maybe a word they might like to use. How would they do that? Let me see. Yeah, very direct, Natalie. Extremely. Yeah, make an appointment. That's a good one. Yeah, short, sharp. With the dominant, I like to say mirror back what they say. Yeah, beautiful. So very D energy, being very direct. Okay, great word that they love is winning. So they love winning. Okay, so let's have and they want to get the results straight away. So what I do is I run an event, and I go deeper on the right language to use to land for each communication style. We're just having a bit of a helicopter view here. So let's have a look at the I. I'm just going to share the screen with you again. So the I energy is It's more social. Often they'll interrupt. They can stray off topic. They really like to be liked. Sometimes they're a little bit indiscreet, and because they're so open and love being with people, they can be quite chatty and inspiring and be very enthusiastic. And they'll often focus on emotions. So they have a lot of fun. They like to have lots of fun, very outgoing. Let's check in. I'm going to check in again. So if you're communicating with the I and you're a leader, how would you need to adapt your language or your words to make sure you're including the I into the group? So we do a lot of this work in the group. Yeah, bringing the energy. I love that. So I is the influencer. A lot of social, and yeah, beautiful. Lots of social there. More relaxed. That's a great one. Expressive and lots of adjectives. I love that one, Fiona. That's a great one. So this is how we're using communication that's landing specifically for our team. So we also need to know how we communicate, because if we're communicating in a style, maybe if you're I and it's like overly friendly and lots of chatty words and lots of different conversations going, and you're working with a D, they could be getting quite frustrated. So as leaders, we need to develop all 4 of the communication styles and share them and learn from them so the message lands with our team. All right, let's continue. Are we okay to continue? Can I have a thumbs up? I know we're going a little bit faster. I do take a lot more time when I do my longer events, but I'm just sharing with you a little bit. So we've got S for steadiness, beautiful energy style, particularly communicators. They like to be quite calm and they need to feel safe. And they don't really like changes or surprises. So they do really need that sort of communication about a change is coming, because they really like to be comfortable. The I's favorite word is to be liked, and the S's favorite word is to be comfortable. Now, they really love to listen, and they're great one-to-ones. So they prefer the one-to-one rather than a large group. So if you've got a lot of S energy in your team, you need to think about how you're going to be speaking with the S energy and how you're going to communicate, and also how you're going to acknowledge. I'm going to give you a really big clue. If you're an I energy and you like to celebrate and have parties and be excited, and you really want to acknowledge and you want to thank an S energy, you need to think about what an S energy will like, because if you throw a surprise party for them, they are not going to be impressed at all. That would be their worst nightmare. So we need to think about, with the S, they like calm, they like one-on-one, they like gentle. They'd prefer you to write a beautiful thank you card and leave it quietly on their desk. So sometimes, yes, do have a little bit of a focus on the negatives. They're great at paying attention and really good listeners, and very empathetic at listening. So they can see a lot of different viewpoints from a lot of different ways. So we have to be like mindful how we acknowledge the S and how we continue to keep the S included. So it is a beautiful, just as a quick little check-in with the team, how would you like to communicate with the S energy? Let's get some words or sentences in the chat. If you're a leader and you've got lots of S energy, we're not going to be jumping around partying, we're not going to be super direct. How would the S energies like to be included? Yeah, very personal. That's a great one. Yeah, more one-to-one. Yeah, take them for coffee and have a one-to-one conversation there. That's beautiful. Very open questions. Just checking in is a great one. Yeah, giving space. Take the time to set the scene, and very conversational. Go team. I love it. I love the way the chat is going off. And we'll go to the last one, which is the C energy for compliance. C for compliance. Quite cautious, very introverted. They like things being very correct and very logical and lots of detail. They love detail. They want to know all the detail of what's happening, so you can fill them in and give them certainty in the room that they are safe and that being included. There's no pressure for communication straight away. Maybe it might be, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think about that, and I'm going to come back to you. Provide that space, and maybe you can email me back, because they love the written communication. It's their favorite form of way of speaking. So they do like lots of proof and they do like to refer to the rules. So perfect if you're going to write an email, best form of communication, but make sure you've dotted all the I's and the T's when you send it, because they might be a little bit distracted that you haven't quite done that. So they don't, if you've got a few C energies in your team, then give them the time, listen, they'll listen to you. They do like to ask questions to get the genuine facts from that. So that is amazing. So coming back, so how would you chat and include the C energy? What would you do if there was the C energy and you were communicating with the C energy? I love that. Be very factual. Let's get some more ideas, team. Lots of reference points. Being direct with exceptions, but explain the reasons why. Yeah, going to that detail and connecting with the why. Lots of details, delivering in-depth information, details orientated. So lots of writing, and you've got a clear plan and give them a lot of time. So lots of supporting data. So absolutely amazing. Okay, so we're going to do a quick step into the importance of body language to build rapport. So I'm just going to check one more slide with you and going to share a quote. The single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So we have talked about 93% of our body language. Our communication is through our body language. So body language is absolutely crucial. And we need to make sure that we are consistently aligned with what we're speaking and how our body language is. Have you ever heard the phrase, it's not what you say, it's how you're saying it? Yeah. Or why are you looking at me like that? There'll be another one because of our language. And sometimes there'll be, when we don't know if someone's language and body language, it looks a little bit incongruent, it doesn't look aligned, unconsciously we will trust the body language. So if you don't really connect with a project that you're doing and you're like, I love this, everybody, and you're really like, well, I don't, I love this, everybody, my arms are crossed, my shoulders are up, your team will know that you don't. So you need to center and figure out a way how you're going to overcome it, because unconsciously your team will go with your body language. So remember, we have those three universal fears. I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, and I don't belong. So as leaders, we need to be thinking back to the primitive states. So our brains are wired to be safe, first of all. So as body language, we need to be open. We need to be matching and mirroring. So how we can build rapport really quickly with our team is to notice what they're doing. So if they're like, may I use an example, Vicky, that your head was slightly tilted before. So if I was chatting with you and now, right now, if I did this with just slightly unconsciously, I did a little bit of move like this, our bodies are connecting. So often if we're looking, maybe tilting the same way, if we are nodding our heads, if we're reflecting back, a quick way to build rapport is to mirror, to match and mirror. And that would be including our tonality. And it would also be including our eyes, our voice, matching as many things that we can align as possible, because we want to put our team at ease. We want to build trust and we want to draw people towards us. So we need to have our bodies open and in the direction matching and mirroring. So let's just jump in the chat. But what are some ways that we could use our body language to be open and welcoming? So a bit of a thinking exercise. How could we be open and welcoming to our team? Yeah, hands open and facing up. It comes back like this. To primitive stages, that we're open and welcoming, that we're looking directly, our eyes are together. Yeah, it's, let me see, facing them, beautiful, smiling. It's a great one. When we smile, our brains are attaching to the dopamine and we're connecting with liking what we're doing. Yeah, eye contact, lots of eye contact, not on the phone. On the phone is disconnecting. So if you're going to make the time and you want to build the rapport, put the phone aside and the computer down and look. The biggest way you can build rapport with your team is to match and mirror. And if they're coming to speak with you and they're looking like Francis is now, we're looking directly, we're building rapport straight away. So not crossing our arms, we increase the proximity, remove any obstacles in the way. If you're behind a desk, if you want to walk away around the desk together, open your arms, your palms out, leaning forward and using your intonation where you go down at the end. So instead of the Australian way of how you go up like this, it actually creates moving back versus how are you going? Dropping your intonation at the end increases vulnerability, increases that you're looking. So I love that active listening. So I'm going to say to the team, we are going to go to a breakout room. I'm asking them to prepare a breakout room for about 6 minutes. And we're going to have 4 people in our teams. We're going to share with them. Now, whenever we've been on a training, if whatever we share amongst ourselves, if we just go away from this training and we don't share it, the retention rate's 20%. If you want to increase your retention rate of some of the things you learned from the training tonight, if you share right now in this room, your retention rate goes up to 80%. Who's in for 80% retention of being here today? Yeah. So what I want you to do is share what you're loving, what you're learning, and what you are taking away from the session tonight. And maybe you can even match and mirror the people in the room when they are speaking. So just for some fun, I love that. Just for some fun with the communicating impactfully. We did C before, so we're going to do impactfully. So I, if your name starts with an I or after in the alphabet, you're in for our game of tag. You get to lead and you're going to share something that you're loving, learning, or taking away. Remember to introduce yourself, of course. And rock up like leaders. So what is your name? What are you loving, learning, and taking away? And maybe doing, I can see Kerry here. She's a little bit tilted on the side. If I was to match and mirror, I'd be over here leaning. I have to have a nice big smile on, and eye contact's beautiful. So have a practice of the match and mirror and notice how you feel once you've built that rapport. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's good to see everybody coming back. It's great to see everyone. I love coming back and seeing who got to meet some interesting people in the room. Give me a wave. Yeah, beautiful. Who got to share something that they were learning in the room. Beautiful. I'm going to check in with the team to make sure they put the second workbook in the chat. Anyone like to share something that they've been loving about the class tonight? And then we will bring it to a close. So is there anything you'd like to share about what you loved, learned, or took away from the class, or about the beautiful event and amazing opportunity that there is? Beautiful. I love that. Anything you'd love to share? If you'd like to raise your hand and share anything that you're taking away of value. There was a lot in the class tonight because I wanted to give you so many examples of how you can communicate with impact. It's been a fantastic masterclass. Thank you, Sarah. Absolutely love that. So much value. Thank you, Sue. Beautiful that you're here. Now, it is your job now to think about what is one action that you are going to take away and implement in your leadership. So what's something? Jump in the chat now and let me know. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Nadish, for that waving there. What is one action that you can take away today and implement? Maybe it is something from empowering language. Maybe it is saying about no longer that's hard, that's a challenge, that's a problem, to this is an opportunity, I'll find a way, something empowering. Yeah, beautiful. Mirroring, that's a great one. Yeah, mirroring, awesome opportunity. Positive moving forward language. Love that, Julie. Inviting language. Beautiful. Andrea, permissive language. Kath, you're a master at that. And I think it will be a good first step for me as a leader in communication. That's a great one. I love your action. Reminder to bring in long-term thinking. Good on you, Lisa Marie. I love that. Lots of permissive language is coming up. Self-awareness about my language and how people respond or react. That's beautiful. And recognizing the energy type of my team. and to use the words to connect with them. Absolutely beautiful. More multiplistic language. I love that, Danielle. Well, thank you everyone for being on the class tonight. It's been an absolute privilege to be with you. I love being around leaders that are growing. You are inspiring. Your energy is amazing. When you are a lifer, you are always around campfires of growing, and the ripple effect of you being here tonight. I want to thank you on behalf of your team, because when you up level, your team up levels, and sometimes they don't remember to say that. So I'm going to thank you for investing in your time and your energy. Have a beautiful evening, and I look forward to seeing you on another class or in our programs that we run. Have a beautiful evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for the lovely comments in the chat.